don't inherit this earth from our ancestors, but we borrow it from our children. I really like the way that line makes us think about where our responsibilities are, and how, you know, past, present, and future can interact with each other. The exhibition is called Our Ghosts Live in the Future. Our ghosts aren't just all of the unresolved traumas that have come from our past, but our ghosts can actually be all of the dreams and the imaginations that we have for our future as we look back, and from the past as we look forward. The exhibition is a suite of projects that are somehow all interconnected. The works connect Vietnam, the United States, France, Senegal, and Morocco. And two of the works kind of begin at the end of the First Indochina War, which was the war in which Vietnam gained independence from French colonialism. That war lasted between 1945 to 1954. And then the second moment looks at the remnants of war that was left after the end of the American war in Vietnam, and the different displacements that happened after these wars.
Tiếng cũng không biết đường nên con quyết định rời bỏ mảnh đất của ông cha. Nhưng ba ơi, nếu hồi đó con vững vàng ở lại thì bây giờ con có vui hơn không?
From my experience, it's very difficult to meet anybody who hasn't been affected by war. If they haven't been affected by war directly, then they've been affected by war indirectly. Whether it's through the inherited traumas from maybe grandfathers or grandmothers who participated in wars, or you know, older generations that have suffered from the different effects of war. But it's very difficult to meet anyone who hasn't been affected by war. You know, even on a broader kind of perspective, the war machine affects multiple economies, the demands from multiple economies. So I think it's important that we are all kind of aware of the roles that war and violence play in our lives, and the roles that we play in the violence that's happening in the world through the multiple wars that are happening. We're all affected by it. So the sculptures in the exhibition, these are kinetic sculptures inspired by Alexander Calder, but they are made from remnants of war. They are made either from unexploded ordnance that have been cast into plate bells, or they are actually shells found in the field and reconfigured to become bells or wind chimes. I started working and thinking about unexploded ordnance as a kind of form of memory. This material, these objects that kind of embody war and destruction, kind of laying hidden underneath the ground after so many decades, are really relics, memories of war. We've collected unexploded ordnance and used them, so the thinking is to turn these objects that were meant to be destructive, that were meant to kill or maim, and to turn them into objects that have an aesthetic value, that are in dialogue with a kind of larger art history, that are also these objects that are meant to heal. There has been a history of sound being used to heal. I grew up in a Buddhist family, so chanting and singing bowls and bells were used in ceremonies all the time. These sound objects are tuned to a frequency known as 432 hertz. It's based on this discovery by a scientist called Schumann. So it's called the Schumann resonance. And what Schumann discovered was that the Earth has a frequency. The Earth itself resonates at 8 hertz. And so 432 is a multiple of 8. The thinking is that this frequency realigns yourself, the people who are affected by the sounds and the vibrations. It aligns it to the frequency of the Earth. And that is a healing process. These frequencies, their ability to heal, like physically heal the body, but also psychologically heal the body. Sound healing is being used to cure cancer, for instance, but also to help victims of post-traumatic stress disorder find peace.
Tu n'as rien vu en Indochine. Je me souviens que tu te tenais devant un fusil en Indochine pour sauver un homme noir. Tu te souviens de l'homme noir?
For me, the moving image is an animistic apparatus. And when I work with objects, they often become protagonists in the films. So they're actors and they have some agency. And my films are oftentimes very much about people who make things in very kind of charged historical spaces, or who make things in historically charged communities. I like the relationship of the object to the narrative. Narratives are intangible. You tell a story and then it kind of disappears. Objects are very tangible. But I think objects can hold the intangible story. And I like it when viewers can sit through a film where they've seen an object, they understand the story behind these objects, and then they walk out into another room and they're kind of confronted with the object. So their own physical reality, their bodies are now in the same space as these other bodies, if you will. And that gives us a different relationship, to the story and to ourselves.